You are looking live at the CrossCountry Mortgage Campus in Berea. Hello, friends. Nathan Zegura alongside Ken Carman. And Ken, this is the day that we have circled on the calendar for training camp, the joint practices between the Browns and the Giants. Welcome in to Browns Live, presented by CrossCountry Mortgage. As I said earlier, Nathan Zegura, Ken Carman, and Ken, already we've seen a lot of spirited action out there. We've heard some chatter back and forth between the former Brown Jabril Peppers and Baker Mayfield, and David Njoku holding a nice catch over him. But this is fun. There's definitely a different intensity and a different vibe in the air here today.
I've seen some speed. I've heard some trash talking. I've also seen some nice daps and pounds and hugs and handshakes as well with Jabril Peppers and some of the former Cleveland Browns who are with the New York Giants right now. An exciting day here in Berea, to say the least.
All right, we're going to jump right into it. 7-on-7s going on right now, and I'd say so far the Browns offense has looked great today against this Giants defense. Baker Mayfield has been incredibly sharp, and Jarvis Landry has been catching everything. Probably had the play of the day so far, a one-handed snag where he just reached out there with his big mitt and brought it in. But I really think Jarvis and Baker have been sharp. David Njoku, the Chief, has looked very good. And then Demetric Felton working as a running back today. I felt bad for some of those linebackers in the one-on-one drills. It was just layup after layup for 25.
That was unfair. That was really unfair. I've been seeing some great stuff so far from this offense today. I haven't got a chance to pay only a little bit of attention to the defense, but today's an offensive day. Watching the guys up front, watching these tight ends work on these linebackers, and especially you talk about Demetric Felton. We've been seeing 25 all over the field today. He's looked wonderful.
He has, and he's working as a running back today. I saw Case Keenum try to hit the Chief, David Njoku, there on that pass that was broken up by the Giants. And so they've been rotating through like a normal practice. The ones get their reps, and then the twos come in and get their reps. As you're looking at Case Keenum, and he's got DPJ there. And as you see behind us over our shoulder, they're working on two fields. So we're showing you the Browns offense right now. The other field will have the Browns defense going against the Giants offense. And it's nice to see the CrossCountry Mortgage Campus come alive like this. They said joint practices couldn't happen here. Well, they certainly can. And today so far, a lot of good work. Nothing has really gotten chippy in any way, shape, or form. There was maybe one instance where a guy on the Giants taunted JohnJohnsonIII, and his coach was having none of it. Said it was actually Greedy Williams' brother, Rodarius Williams. He told him, hey, get out. You can get right on out. And JoJo kind of said, grabbed his leg. We'll go ahead and let that go, and we're going to move on and stay professional about our business.
It's wonderful to see. It's really nice to see where there has been a lot of professionalism so far here today. It's day one, technically 3 overall when you include the preseason game. But there's so much to look forward to today, so much to look forward to on Friday as well as Sunday. And I love the energy that both these teams have brought. It's really been refreshing.
It has been fun. And what's really stood out to me is the difference in approach between these two organizations and the energy. The Browns, as we saw in that preseason opener, all business under head coach Kevin Stefanski. They've kind of taken on that personality. Joe Judge a little bit more fiery, kind of has that college feel. And the Giants have come in here with a lot of energy. As you see Case Keenum there walking in front of the head coach Kevin Stefanski. They sounded the horn there, so we are going to move on to our roster battle presented by Discount Drug Mart. And today we are going to look at the safety room, and unfortunately a guy that we really wanted to see out there, number 22, Grant Delpit, not able to practice today, re-aggravated that same hamstring, and I feel this kid cannot catch a break.
You feel terrible. You absolutely feel terrible for this kid, and what he struggled with, coming back from that injury in the first place. I think I got the stat, something like 22 or 26% of players who get that injury don't even come back to professional football. So having him back in the first place is great, but with the injury to the hamstring, it's so frustrating. He's such a big kid, such a playmaker. We want to get him out there, but we want to make sure he's healthy when we do.
And he's one of the guys that the Browns are going to be counting on in that safety room, along with, of course, the top free agent signing by the Browns, John Johnson III. And he's joined by Ronnie Harrison, who's returned to action this week and has looked good in his return. He appears to be in tremendous condition as you look at Delpit there, not participating today. And now when you see the Browns, everybody wearing the white jerseys today. We're used to the brown and the white, depending on offense, defense. But today, everybody in those. You also get a look at Ronnie Harrison Jr., number 33. That's your top 3. After that, I think there's a lot up for debate as you think about Sheldrick Redwine battling an ankle, and then Richard LeCount, who really stepped up and was probably one of the stars of that game down in Jacksonville.
Was great. The former Bulldog, loved watching him back on Saturday. He gets himself a real opportunity here, especially with Sheldrick battling that injury and trying to just keep himself afloat. With Richard LeCount, I think he's a guy that clearly Andrew Berry is excited about. I think that this defense is excited about. Joe Woods loved him back on Saturday. Looking forward to seeing what else Richard LeCount can do.
Yeah, this guy was first team All-SEC. He was the team captain at Georgia. Fell after that off-the-field motorbike incident. Cost him a real accident that really cost him basically the rest of his collegiate season. Didn't test well, but he certainly showed on the field that he is a player, and it's going to be fun seeing him. Speaking of Georgia, look at Nick Chubb right there in the backfield, and that's what's fun about today. We're seeing the Brown starters as we see a team period underway. Baker sending Harrison Bryant in motion, and you're seeing the Brown starters against a very good defensive line of the Giants. Play action pass, and he heads down the field for the Chief for a big gainer right there, and that's what you want to see. Jabril Peppers popping into the screen again, and the Chief is off to a very nice start today.
Highlighted for the Twitterverse, 85 has had a wonderful practice today. The Chiefs really showed up. He's been on Jabril Peppers all day long, and Jabril Peppers is left frustrated. He was right in front of us about 20-25 minutes ago, made an excellent catch over Jabril. Today's a really nice day for David Njoku.
Yeah, and the Chief is a guy that I think can play a monster role because you look at that tight end room and you've got the steady hand, obviously, of Austin Hooper, the two-time Pro Bowler. You've got Harrison Bryant, who put on a move in a one-on-one earlier today that left somebody on their tuchus, as they say. And then you got Chief, though, and his athleticism. You see Nick Chubb picking up the blitz there. Baker finding another one of those tight ends. A good day for them. Austin Hooper coming across. And you like to just see this competition. And, folks, let me tell you something. What you're seeing right now on Browns Live, this might be the most intense action you see from our starters this whole preseason. We don't know yet what the plans are. Head coach Kevin Stefanski probably will talk about that today after practice, but I think it's easy to assume that since the ones are going to get this joint practice work, that you'll probably see something similar to what we saw in Jacksonville.
It's been pretty quiet so far about what they're going to do both in the Giants game and against the Falcons. So watching this, you might be seeing all what the starters do during this training camp against live competition. I know they're not tackling to the ground, but so far so good. You mentioned the tight ends. Connor Davis has had himself a very nice day. We'll talk about him, I'm sure, a little bit later on, especially with that injury to Steven Carlson. It opens up an opportunity for Jordan Franks or Connor Davis or another guy that you mentioned yesterday, Johnny Stanton, a guy who has played tight end before, can play tight end again, and was a big part of that offense in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and that's something I'm going to be keeping my eye on as these practices go on, and then this Sunday at First Energy Stadium against the Giants. Does Johnny Stanton get some reps at the tight end position, because he's a guy that we know can be a fullback. We saw him be a tailback down there. We saw him catch the ball very naturally, and we know he can block, so does he play some tight end? Now we flip over, and we're going to take a look at the Giants offense working against the Browns defense, and so this will be our first look at the Browns D, and I know earlier it looked like Jacob Phillips went into the tent for the Browns, or into the facility, as we look at that linebacking core right now.
Find him,
yeah, haven't seen him come back out, but there's your first look at Daniel Jones, the young quarterback of the Giants. Little play action, and he looks out to the right, and he's able to complete. No, he's not able to complete it. Slayton doesn't come up with it. Greg Newsome right there in coverage for the Browns. And so as I try to look back out there, it looks like Ronnie Harrison still not participating in these team portions. And so you're seeing John Johnson and Javonte Moffitt back to that safety room, a guy who's an undrafted free agent a year ago, got the start, played very well in Jacksonville. He's a guy that coaches, they just like. He's good on special teams, good in that room. And so that safety competition with the injury to Redwine becomes somewhat interesting.
One of those guys, he's a pet cat, and a pet cat for a good reason. And I would do the motion, but we're watching Daniel Jones right now. Guy that a lot of coaches like, plays fast. If he makes a mistake, he makes a mistake fast, and he's a quick learner.
And you see Daniel Jones lead the Giants up against the Browns starting defense. And, you know, I got a chance to talk earlier today to our big guy, Malik Jackson. And this is a guy, Ken, I feel like you would love him. What a personality, but what a professional. So this is a guy who's a Super Bowl champion, right? He's been in the league 10 years now. And when we were talking, he noted that he's been spending the last few days watching Giants tape, getting ready for these joint practices. And I thought, that just struck me. This is a guy who gets it, and hopefully the young guys in that room, and there are many, Elliott and Togiai and Wilson and McDowell, can take an example there for Malik Jackson.
I'm glad you brought him up because we highlighted him right at the end of the show yesterday when he was talking to people before some of the opportunity drills in that session right at the end of practice. Malik's a guy who's paid the fiddler. He knows the price that needs to be paid to go be on a Super Bowl football team, win a Super Bowl, to get what it's done in the playoffs. You know, Miles has done a great job. If you watch the NFL films over this last week when that came out with the year in review. Miles has really separated himself as a leader, and he needs to be. He's the number 1 overall pick. But you need a guy who's been there. You need that veteran in the locker room. I think that's where Malik Jackson really is going to pay off.
Yeah, and he has so far. And how about what we just saw right there? Greedy Williams. Now remember, this is the first time Greedy Williams has gone against somebody who is not a Cleveland Brown other than the game in Jacksonville, which was brief, but going against another team's starters, he's doing it here. These are his first real reps since 2019. And so this is a big deal, and you saw his teammates excited for him right there. He got a nice pass breakup. Kind of looked like Anthony Walker Jr. might have gotten in there on a blitz to get that ball out there, but great coverage from Greedy, who was able to knock that one away. And the Browns flying around, number 37, Emmanuel Ragumba. He was able to break that one up there, an undrafted free agent who's getting a lot of work at corner today. We know Denzel's taken another day as he's still dealing with some of that general soreness, getting ready for obviously what matters the most, September the 12th. A.J. Green not out here today as well, and so there are reps. Keandre Thomas went on the injured reserve after he was waived injured, reverted back to the Browns IR, who was a very promising undrafted free agent out of Kansas State. But Rugamba from down at the University of Miami, nice play there.
It gives you heart, the backups being able, as we're looking at Case Keenum right now, but it gives you heart, the backups going up against the first teamer from the Giants, doing a pretty good job so far today.
They are, and how about that matchup right there? Nick Harris going against Danny Shelton, the former first-round pick of the Browns, and there's our guy, Demetric Felton again, that speed to the edge, and then earlier today he had one where he caught an out route, and the guy tried to come up to him, and he just kind of went, whoop! Did that little hop, and he was gone right up the sideline. So a fun player to watch, no doubt. We've talked quite a bit about Demetric Felton, but here we are. This is fun. The joint practices, we're actually getting a chance to see some real competitive football. Again, no tackling, as you talked about, so there's still going to be conversations between the running backs and the linebackers about, oh, I tagged you up. Well, you weren't going to tackle me. I was breaking that tackle, brother. So here we go. Case Keenum under center for the Browns. Ooh, and a little counter to Demetric Felton off the right side, nice, and the Giants come there. Some nice, out there. Yeah, Kaderil Hodge coming around. All right, you want to get those beautiful 1946 jerseys. Well, and you want to get the rest of that 1946 collection, all you need to do is visit the Cleveland Browns Pro Shop. All proceeds benefit the Cleveland Browns Foundation. If you can't make it to the Pro Shop, call 440-824-3427. When we come back, more of the action from the joint practice between the Browns and the Giants right here at the CrossCountry Mortgage Campus.
Hi, I'm John. I'm a pharmacist for Discount Drug Mart, but that's not all I am. I'm a healthcare provider, good listener, and a problem solver. I've been a pharmacist for Drug Mart for over 30 years, and that's a long time to get to know your patients. And each week we hear as many concerns as there are patients. Just the other day, I special ordered a medication for Mrs. Briscoe, just to make sure she didn't miss a dose. I'm proud that our patients trust me with their pharmacy needs, and I promise that Discount Drug Mart will always be there for you.
They said it couldn't be done, but somehow CCM was able to close this home in just 21 days. Carl, how'd you pull this off?
Oh, hard work, dedication, grinding.
Were you ever worried?
Well, you know, Chloe, they pinned us in deep in the second bedroom, inspection issues, but we regrouped. Knew there was still a lot in play.
Well, I'm sure the Franklins were pleasantly surprised.
We got a good organization here. A lot to look forward to.
Good luck with the next close. And there you have it. CrossCountry Mortgage is dedicated to getting it done.
When you're a single mom, you're not just mom. Sometimes you're dad, teacher, coach, protector, disciplinarian, playmate, and provider. It's a lot for one person, but Paramount Advantage Medicaid is here to help with health insurance for you and your child. You'll have access to excellent eye doctors and ear doctors, and your kid will get to see the pediatrician with the good suckers. All you need is a little advantage. Visit ParamountAdvantage.org today.
No matter how early you're up or how late you're running, when you start your day at Speedway, we've got what you need to have a good morning. We've got it hot, we've got it cold, we've got it sprinkled, we've got it ready. We're here to make your morning a little better, because when you get off to a better start, you go on to a better day. The official convenience store of the Cleveland Browns.
Be part of one of the most passionate fan bases in the NFL. Join the Browns season ticket member waitlist today for the best chance at securing tickets for all home games in future seasons.
Towards the end zone, caught by Donovan Peoples-Jones, touchdown! The Browns are winners again!
Deposits start at just $100 per seat. Reserve your spot today by visiting clevelandbrowns.com. Welcome back to Browns Live, presented by CrossCountry Mortgage. You're looking at the CrossCountry Mortgage Campus, and the head coach of your Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski, presiding over these joint practices. Right now, the Giants on offense. Nathan Zegura, Ken Carman with you. And Ken, as we were watching in that break there, the Browns defense has done a very nice job. Not a lot of completions for this Giants passing offense so far.
They've done wonderfully throughout this session right now. Watching Daniel Jones, he had some struggles going for him. And seeing the way that Mike Glennon's trying to get a couple things just dumped off, I think it's been a little bit frustrating for the Giants offense so far.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of people around the quarterback there. Of course, we're looking through orange-colored lenses as we observe this practice.
Works, yeah.
But how about Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who we just saw there, Ken? What a showing down in Jacksonville, and I got a chance to talk with him earlier today. Wasn't satisfied in the least. Said, I've got so many things to clean up. Everybody's telling me it was good. That's fine. I appreciate their opinions, but I've got to get a heck of a lot better. And I love that about that young man, who was kind of considered by everybody who watched week 1 of the preseason one of the most impressive players on the field in the league.
He was great in that game. And I know we're back to Thursday now. We're getting ready for the Giants coming up on Sunday. We're really getting ready for the season. Jeremiah had to play himself into shape back on Saturday. He did, and I love hearing when you're talking to him and he's just dissatisfied with a really great performance. It gives you a lot of heart.
It does, and he's a guy, when he came off the field to me after that game, the first day he said it was a great job. He's like, I messed a lot of stuff up. I said, well, that's what the preseason's for, to clean it up. And I think we're going to see a lot of Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah this Sunday at First Energy Stadium. We're seeing a lot of him out there right now as well. As you see Baker Mayfield with his offensive line, the Browns ones getting ready to go against the Giants defense now. And Baker bringing some of his guys in to talk to them about what they look to do. And this is fun because this is the peak at our team right now. This is a peak at our first team offense that we're not going to see. We haven't seen them against anybody other than the Browns, and we might not after today and tomorrow.
And you got Wyatt Teller there, who's got like the old style shoulder pads on. It looks like he went to 1993 to go get those shoulder pads for him. Looking great.
He is looking good. Looks like he almost had one of those, like a neck roll, like a little. He's going to get a little.
Steve Everett.
The Steve Everett,
yeah,
right?
Looking good.
Yeah, looking very good. And he's saying, Ken, I hear you. I acknowledge that, and I appreciate your compliment. Baker out of the shotgun, getting the ball out quick, and there he is. Jarvis Landry, who has had a phenomenal day. And, when I was talking to Kareem down in Jacksonville, we were on the bus flying before we flew back here to Cleveland. And for these guys, they love being on the sideline. That's fun.
Yeah.
But they also like to play the game. That's the reward, is getting to actually play. And so to get to compete today, which is something they have not gotten to do yet, I think is pretty exciting. And you're seeing guys like Jarvis Landry put on a real show right now. And speaking of Kareem Hunt, there he is flanking Baker Mayfield in this shotgun here. But so far, it looks like the pockets have been good for Baker Mayfield. You get a peek at Jack Conklin looking at Jabril Peppers. Peppers earlier came off a blitz and told Conklin he needs to bend a little more. Little screen game, and that one's set up well. And I think this is a part of the offense. We saw that in Jacksonville, some very nicely executed screens, and we're seeing it here today. And Kareem Hunt, just get the ball in his hands and let him go.
It's good for depth because Kareem, he's one of the best in the business at doing it. Did it in Kansas City. He's done it here. Dearness Johnson back on Saturday was fantastic with it. We've seen him in practice be able to execute it. Nick Chubb can do it, and it's always that sneaky speed that Nick Chubb has. I really liked it, and this is one of the little folds that work into this as we're watching Baker go to work again, is they are able to fold in that screen a little by little more as the season went on. It's kind of one of those folds that you just watch as the season progresses, especially when things are going well.
You're right. Baker Mayfield pointing downfield. There was a flag down there. He had nowhere to go with the ball but a flag, and so the Browns doing a little – this looks like a 2-minute drill. They're not going back to the huddle, getting that up-tempo, moving the ball, and there's – what a shot by our production team, the camera guys. They've got the flag for you. The ref's picking it up, but the Browns getting the benefit. And so this little hurry-up period has started with a couple of successful pass plays, one to Jarvis, a screen then to Kareem Hunt, and now you've got that penalty, and the Browns appear to be on the move. It kind of looks like they are maybe doing a little bit of a move the ball period here as the Browns make their way down the field. And by my calculations, Ken, it looks like they're about midfield, maybe the 45-yard line of the Giants.
Yeah, coming in towards us from what it looks like there. So a nice drill they got going on as Baker's trying to get moved around and see what he can get on his offense. He looks a little frustrated here over something he saw.
flushed out to the right there. They wave that off, and they say that, nope, that play is not happening. I feel like I recognize some of those officials out there. This looks like a real official NFL crew in here to help give these teams some good work and get those calls in. You saw Kevin Spacey say, no. We're done on there. Nobody's running after the quarterbacks. It's all just settle down here, simmer down, and get this good work in as the Browns and the Giants are holding this joint practice here today. But I'll tell you, I love seeing our offensive line. Remember last year at training camp, J.C. Treader missed all the camp. And then he comes in the season, and obviously he was fine and he was a stud.
Yeah.
But it's been nice. These guys haven't missed any time at all. Knock on wood. We'll keep that going. But it's great to see this line together, the continuity of it, and the comfort that brings your quarterback when he's behind. First-team All-Pro right tackle and Jack Conklin, a couple other second-team All-Pro guys at the guards, and Wyatt Teller and Joel Bitonio as they pick up the blitz, and Baker drives one down the field to who else? Donovan Peoples-Jones with a leaping grab, and the Browns are on the move. Look like they got down to about the 20-yard line. Probably pick up about 25 there to DPJ.
Going quick, I kind of want to hit on J.C. Treader just for a second.
Please
there.
do.
That might have been – I know that they didn't get exactly what they wanted to get done in the first half of the season, and Kevin Stefanski talked about that. The relationship with a quarterback and a center, if the quarterback's going to be the captain, the center's got to be the first mate. This is their first year in the offense together. J.C. had that surgery, was back and ready for week one. It's one of those things you start to wonder, now that they're together for an entire offseason, they're working for an entire offseason against other opponents, how much better will it be to start things off in 2021?
I think it'll just be smooth, and they know each other very well, but in this system now to be able to kind of see, as Baker Mayfield has said, it's so important that you and the center see through the same eyes.
Yes.
Because you've got to adjust the protections, you've got to be the ones to make a call right. The Browns tried to dial up a screen right there, covered well by the Giants, and Baker just threw it at the feet of Demetric Felton. So they're at about 20, 25-yard line here. Baker dropping back, firing, and there's Demetric Felton with a quick one, probably about 10 yards and out of bounds. And so we'll see if that'll give the Browns a new set of downs, but they are hurrying it up. And I like this. Baker looks very composed, very in control. And, one of the things he said to us yesterday when he joined us on Browns Live was, get the ball out.
Yeah.
Just get the ball out quickly. He's doing that right now, Ken.
Let the playmakers go make the plays. Demetric Felton's going to be trouble for a couple of these teams. Yeah, I know that Kansas City, they cross their T's and dot their lowercase J's as good as anybody out there. I think this kid's going to be a mismatch for a lot of these teams that are on this schedule this year.
And what's interesting is you would have said going into this training camp, Demetric Felton, nice player, led the Pac-12 in all-purpose yards. Does he have a role? And there's Jarvis again. And Jarvis Landry is putting on an absolute show out here today. And this is a good secondary of the New York Giants. James Bradbury, one of the best corners in the NFL. They brought in Adoree Jackson, who was a former first-round pick of the Tennessee Titans. They've got Logan Ryan and Jabril Peppers out there, a couple of safeties, and Ryan, a former corner. So this is a team that prides itself on its ability to cover on the back end. But Jarvis, he's healthy for the first time in his Browns career. Truly healthy, and it's showing.
Yeah, well, he's a guy. He can mask an injury as good as anybody out there. I mean, you remember go back to last year when he had the injury. That's when you knew it was serious because you knew he was kind of holding on to things. So you knew that was a difficult one. So he's a heart and soul type of player for this football team. He had a great one-handed catch that I actually think was intended for Kadero Hodge earlier today, but he just stepped right in front of it, was able to take it with one hand and off to the end zone. He went. We had a couple of people out here. They were oohing and on from what they saw from Jarvis Landry earlier this afternoon.
Yeah, Baker, that one, I'm sure the Giants side, they might say, hey, I think we got to the quarterback there. Baker trying to drill one into Jarvis just inside the 10-yard line as the Browns have entered the red zone in this move the ball period against the Giants. They're huddling up now because they've got a little bit of the time on their side to try to get in. Looks like second and about 12, 13, maybe they did call that a little bit, or 15, maybe they did call that a little bit of a sack there. Baker in the shotgun surveying the scene against this Giants defense. It's got three safeties on the field now. Jabril kind of playing a hybrid defensive back linebacker position. The Giants call timeout. This is a very game-realistic situation. So you're getting a chance right now to watch.
We're getting a real feel here.
We're getting a real feel. Now, they're not tackling to the ground. The whole, the key here is to be safe. But for the Browns and the Giants, this is great work. And for our starters, this is the most extensive work that they've seen since coming here to the CrossCountry Mortgage Campus to get ready for the 2021 season.
Exactly what you want. You want a good look, as we're getting a good look at Jabril Peppers right now on our screen here. This is a guy that they're wondering about for their long-term future. You get a nice, hungry team like the Giants here. I've come away so far really impressed by their work and what they've done. I think that they want to give themselves a good look. They got a lot to play for, just figuring out what their future is going to be as well.
You're right about that, and they certainly have come here to compete today, and that's good for the Browns because the Browns, very talented team. A lot of teams are gonna come and bring their best at the Browns. It's a very different situation than it was a few years ago. Teams are gonna see the Browns on their schedule, and they're gonna say, "We got to bring it." Baker going for the back of the end zone. Smart put it up there, going for our own photog, Matt Starkey right there. But unfortunately, Starkey had the camera, couldn't come up with that one. But that was a smart throw. That's either a touchdown or it's incomplete. You put it where maybe somebody goes up and snags it, but you can't turn the football over down here in the red area.
Doing a lot of thinking down here on this end, trying to figure out what they like, what they don't like, and a couple of things that you kind of pen in and pencil in for later on in the year.
And I think that's one of the things that you're going through and trying to figure. You're going to try some things out and see what sticks against this Giants football team. And Kevin Stefanski has seen a lot of good so far. And the Browns now 3rd down in the red zone. And these are one of the big plays, right? This is the potential for a 4-point play for the Browns. You try to get this first down so you have a chance to get in the end zone. If not, you're going to be kicking a field goal. Baker's got to be flushed out to the right. Stops, throws back all the way left and going up and getting. Did he get it?
Always fine.
Oh, he sure did. Hollywood Higgins roll out the red carpet. And the whole bench is running out. They've rolled the red carpet out. He is now going to walk. The photogs are in place. Look at even Anthony Schwartz getting in there. Curtis Weaver, Alex Hollins, Davion Davis, star down Jackson. The Chief is dancing his way in. Oh, there's
James
joy.
Bradbury can't believe it.
He cannot believe it. Joy and merriment for the Cleveland Browns. Odell loving what he sees, and that's what Hollywood Higgins does. He just makes plays, and that's one of those that, again, we can't see the whole field with what we're showing here, but where Baker rolls right and throws back left, typically you're like, no. Yes, touchdown, Browns. Oh, there's smiles all over the sideline here at the CrossCountry Mortgage campus.
Look good. Of course, they're going to have things that they want to get figured out. You see Baker talking with Jarvis and talking a little bit with what looks like Joel Bitonio as well, getting a couple of things worked out there, especially on those 3rd downs. There's always a way with Rashard Higgins where he always comes down with a pass. You never understand it, but he's always there on the right spot at the right time.
And now the Giants take their turn on the offensive side of the ball in a similar kind of move the ball 2-minute drill here. And you see the Browns defense out there. I have to say, for a joint practice, the efficiency from both of these staffs to get this together and to get, people rolling. Look, the Browns just scored a touchdown. Yeah, we got the red carpet celebration there, which was a lot of fun. But, okay, Giants ball, here we go. And that was a 50-50 ball that was won by Hollywood Higgins, and you could win the Browns 50-50 raffle. Visit Browns5050.com to participate in the Cleveland Browns training camp 50-50. 50% of the proceeds benefit shoes and clothes for kids and the Stay in the Game network, and the other half could be yours. We're at around $11,000, so a chance to put $5,500 or more in your pocket. Get your tickets right now, and there's a big play. Greg Newsome behind us. You heard that? You heard that yell from the crowd. Greg Newsome with the pick, and the celebrations continue, and this is what you like to see. Greg Newsome interception. Hollywood Higgins, touchdown Browns. Brandon Lynch, the cornerback coach, they're fired up. And let me tell you, Jeff Howard making his way in there. They love this young man out of Northwestern who is now a young man of the Cleveland Browns. Greg Newsome, the trajectory very, very high. The arrow pointing up for him. We're going to have more. They actually just got a couple of big highlights. Touchdown Browns, interception Browns. We've got more coming your way on Browns Live, presented by CrossCountry Mortgage. But first, I caught up with CEO Ron Leonhardt Jr. and the founder of CrossCountry Mortgage. Take a listen. Well, here we are in the CrossCountry Mortgage campus, and I'm sitting down with the CEO of CrossCountry Mortgage, Ron Leonhardt Jr. And Ron, welcome to the Browns family, the newest partner and a big partnership, one that's pretty special. And for you growing up, a diehard Browns fan, we've seen the pictures of you in jerseys as a young man. What does it mean to be sitting here right now knowing that it's real? Here we are in your facility.
Yeah, super excited. I've been a lifelong Cleveland Browns fan, and this is like really the closest I can come to playing for the Browns is having a sponsorship with them. So I'm super excited about it, and looking forward to a great partnership.
So what did it mean to you growing up, here being a Browns fan?
Ever since I could remember, it's the Browns has always been a part of my daily life, whether it was, going to games, opening up Christmas presents for the Browns. But again, it's just been a lifelong passion. And again, my father was a huge Browns fan, his brothers, his uncles. So again, this has been, kind of a rite of passage
Yeah, and now here you are partnering with the Browns. What does that mean to you when you think about growing up as a Browns fan and now the Browns facility? Every time somebody comes here to go training camp, they see CrossCountry Mortgage Campus.
Just to have your name associated with the Browns is it's a great feeling. I think it's great for the company. It's great for me personally, but I think it's really great for the community as well. I mean, I went to school at BW, so it's kind of great that I actually can get the training facility named after us because, again, I've actually practiced in here before too, so it's great.
By the way, you look like you're ready for some more practice.
I'm ready for a tryout.
Absolutely. I know in seeing some of the videos in your office, you have a couple of autographed Browns jerseys on the wall, some legends there. What's kind of the story behind those jerseys and letting everybody know, hey, this is a Cleveland company?
Yeah, I think at a halftime, at one of the Browns games, I bought the Ozzie Newsome, Jim Brown jersey, 2 all-time greats, and we hung them up in our conference room to represent, make sure everyone knows we're from Cleveland, we're Browns fans, and it's good that people know where we're from.
What do you think about the fact that Jim Brown has an office in the CrossCountry Mortgage Campus?
I think it's awesome, right? Again, another great legend, and just to have our name associated with it feels great.
Well, that's going to do it for the practice anyway, but not for Browns Live. Browns Live presented by CrossCountry Mortgage. We still have much more to come, and Ken, an unusual scene unfolding here on campus. The Browns, who had a very nice competitive period, you get a Baker Mayfield to Hollywood Higgins touchdown. You get the red carpet. You get a Greg Newsome interception. The Browns have met. They're walking into their locker rooms. The Giants, Joe Judge apparently not happy with what he saw because they've been running sprints now for a good couple minutes, Ken.
Okay, I'm a little bit surprised. I kind of want to withhold commentary, let the Giants figure out their own stuff. That's okay. At least we took care of our business, so that's
right.
That's all right. That's okay.
And
Fine
you see
with
the Browns
us.
talking through things. Kevin Stefanski, Baker Mayfield, and Jack Conklin. An excellent day of work for the Cleveland Browns here today, who looked like the better team, as they should, frankly, in this joint practice with the Giants. Let's get some fan questions in now using the hashtag BrownsLive. Bake to Higgins, what an apropos name based on what we just saw out there on that third down. It was Bake to Higgins that set up a red carpet walk as you see Hollywood making his way into the building just to our right. I know he hears us. He's smiling.
Of course he does.
Who has proved themselves the most during training camp so far? Eliminate all the normal answers.
All right, take your pick. Can I just say Demetric Felton again because I want to get this piece in? You go back to – I don't want to just keep going over – he's a 6th-round pick. There's got to be people going, how much of a difference could the guy make? Remember this. This is a guy coming from a program, and I'm not trying to talk bad about Chip Kelly or anything like this, but they had conversations last year about his job. There were questions about the coaching staff. There was questions about the program. They had COVID questions as well. So now that you're with this staff, that we love this staff, and I think that's obvious with the way the media talks about him, with you and I talk about it. You get him under some proper coaching. Is he going to go out there and catch 200 yards and run for another 100 in week 1? Probably not, but you watch this kid over this year. He's got a really bright future, and you can tell just by how much usage he's getting throughout this training camp.
Well, I said coming into it, you said, okay, here's a 6th-round pick. Running back, wide receiver, he's looking to maybe try to find his way onto this roster. Now he's a guy that we're talking about. Is there going to be a package for him? Is there going to be a set of plays to take advantage of his unique skill set for the Browns here? And I think the answer is probably yes. My training camp standout, I'm going to go with Greg Newsome. We haven't talked about him a lot.
Yeah.
But Greg Newsome has been an absolute stud. And when you talk to Jeff Howard and Brandon Lynch, the cornerback coach and the DB coach respectively, what they say is that his football IQ, no surprise coming from Northwestern, is off the charts. And his ability to take things from the film room to the field is unparalleled. And Newsome continues to get better, continues to impress. Had a great interception there as you see him getting some extra work with a couple of the corners, Brian Allen and Emmanuel Ragumba, as they talk through it. But Denzel Ward, he said, gave him a great piece of advice that really helped kind of get him on the right path. And at first he wanted to fix every mistake every day.
Yeah.
And Denzel said, look, focus on one thing today. Fix one thing today. Check that off the list. Tomorrow, fix another thing, and so on and so forth. And he said that really helped me kind of give myself, small measurable goals for improvement, baby steps, as it were.
You can pick and choose. What matters to you if you're in scouting, if you're Andrew Berry, if you're Paul DiBodesta, and certainly if you're Kevin Stefanski, because this is a guy who comes from another exact opposite situation of what we were just talking about. Pat Fitzgerald is beloved in NFL circles, certainly in college football circles, was part of a very experienced defense last year at Northwestern. I know that he was banged up up. But the smarts, being able to take in a defense, take everything in that needs to come with it because it's so difficult in the NFL, and then be able to make mental checkdowns and then go after it says a lot about what he can bring to this football team.
It certainly does. We are very excited. A great day of action here, and there's still so much more to come on Browns Live, presented by CrossCountry Mortgage, because John Johnson III will be joining us on set, plus more of your questions. Use that hashtag Browns Live. A very successful day of work for the Browns here at the CrossCountry Mortgage campus. John Johnson III on set next.
Spicy chicken nugs. We didn't say Wendy's, but you probably thought Wendy's. And you thought right. But you probably didn't think they'd be free with any purchase through the Wendy's app.
Touchdown, Nick Chubb! He's done it again!
Be part of one of the most passionate fan bases in the NFL. Join the Browns season ticket member waitlist today for the best chance at securing tickets for all home games in future seasons.
Towards the end zone, caught by Donovan Peoples-Jones, touchdown! The Browns are winners again!
Deposits start at just $100 per seat. Reserve your spot today by visiting clevelandbrowns.com.
Our students don't just read books or write papers. They forge new paths and new ideas. At LECOM, we build medical professionals who excel. We create the foundation of a better world. We seek new ways to aid others. We lead the next generation. We guide the future of medicine. At LECOM, we make doctors.
And let's go live to the press conference.
Do you understand what business we're in? When a homeowner comes to us, they're not looking for paperwork. They're looking to close a mortgage. And it's our job to make sure that happens. Closing. Not paperwork, not rigmarole, not red tape. Closing. Do you understand? So let's just say that one more time. Closing.
CrossCountry Mortgage is dedicated to getting it done.
Spicy chicken nugs. We didn't say Wendy's, but you probably thought Wendy's. And you thought right. But you probably didn't think they'd be free with any purchase through the Wendy's app.
All right, welcome back to Browns Live, presented by CrossCountry Mortgage. Nathan Zegura, Ken Carman, and you can see we are joined now by the Browns safety, John Johnson III. And John, good day of work out there. That final period, Browns touchdown, a little red carpet walking for Hollywood, and then Greg Newsome with the interception. So you guys had to feel pretty good about it, the way that thing ended.
Yeah, we got good days of work. You know, on defense, it's 2 minutes. You want to get off the field and close the game out. So that's what we wanted to do. And, yeah, Hollywood, man, who would have thought? Like, went up there. It seemed like it was a prayer. We went up over 5 guys, caught the ball. So we had fun, and we worked hard. I think we got better today. So that's all you want.
How have you liked picking up this defense with Joe Woods so far this year?
Oh, it's been cool, and it's a lot of carryover from my first 3 years. I was with Wade Phillips out in L.A. There's a lot of similarities to, what they ran in Denver, and then a couple other stuff from, a couple stops that Joe has been at. But it's fun. It's cool. It's kind of like flashbacks to my first 3 years of the NFL, so I'm enjoying it.
John, you gave me probably my favorite quote I've ever heard from a player in my 9 years with this organization, and that was when you signed. And I said, there were reports out there that you got offered more money elsewhere. And you said, why would I chase a few dollars and turn down the opportunity of a lifetime to play for the Cleveland Browns? And Joe Thomas, I told him that, the future Hall of Famer, brought a tear to his eye. Now you've been here. Do you still feel that same way? You're happy that you have this opportunity of a lifetime with this group of guys and this coaching staff here with this team?
I'm loving it. I'm loving the city. I'm loving the organization. I'm loving my teammates. So I have no regrets. It's all great. And we're going to see what we can do. That we started at that point, in March. We're here now in August, moving into the season. So it's been fun. It's been great. But, September 12th, when that first kickoff happens, it'll all be history.
You're still a really young guy, but we have other young guys in this secondary, guys who are either rookies or guys who are really young pups who didn't get to play because of injury. How do you bring those guys along with you in that defense if you want to compete right off?
Oh, yeah. You just got to establish identity on defense, and everyone has to buy into it. And I think we've done that. Those young guys, they haven't been playing, much, but they've been paying attention. You can tell they're students of the game. They work hard. So that's a good start for us. And once we build our identity and establish it and perfect everything that we work on, I think the sky's the limit for us.
The one thing that stood out when I've talked to both Grant and Richard LeCount about you is that he knows what's happening before it happens. And that's how do you kind of get that, and how do you kind of teach these young guys, look, it's not just what you can do physically, but it's how you prepare and what you do mentally that allows you to be able to diagnose, see those things so you can make the plays that we all want to make.
Right. I think it's just reps, experience. You see a formation, you see a motion and an adjustment. I know what offenses want to do. So I think it comes with reps, experience, playing in games. And, a guy like me, I've made a career off of, being smart, beating the guy to a spot because, there's a lot of fast guys in this league. You got to keep up with them. So being a step ahead has always been my biggest attribute.
Now, one of the things we heard a lot about coming in this year was that dime package where you, Ronnie, and Grant would be on the field together. And obviously with injury, we haven't gotten to see that. We got a little taste of it, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday this week, and hopefully we'll get Grant back out there again soon. But I know you guys have been putting in extra work to at least mentally be ready for the time you get it. What excites you about that package, and what do you think that can add to this defense?
Just speed, just athleticism out there. You don't want to be a slow defense. You want to be a fast, attacking, physical defense. And, getting the extra safety, even the corner, or even like a Jeremiah, a extra athletic guy on the field like that is awesome. And the stuff you could do in coverage, the stuff you could do in blitz patterns, it's awesome. So, like you said, we've been in our playbook. We've been dialing some things up, but the day we go out there and finally get it, it'll be something amazing to see. So,
aren't you hot in the long sleeves?
It actually keeps me cool.
It does?
Yeah, it does. I sweat a lot though, but it keeps me cool.
This has got to be the most humid training camp I've ever been a part of myself. I look at you and go, gosh, she's in long sleeves. We've been talking a lot about schemes and with this defense as well. Again, you haven't been around too terribly long whatsoever. But there's been so much change with defenses in the NFL. Nathan brings it up. Joe Woods wanted to run dime over 400 times last year. Wasn't able to do so because of injuries and personnel. How much is this change, and how difficult is it mentally to be able to stay with today's defenses?
Oh, I mean, like you said, today's defenses, it comes from today's offenses. Guys got track guys, world-class speed out there. So getting an extra guy that can run, that can tackle, that can do everything, maybe a linebacker can, is almost like mandatory nowadays. So, hopefully we can get the guys out there. I think we have enough, even if, something happens with any one of the big three. I feel like, we got enough depth to get that dime package out there and get speed out there.
When you think about the safety position, and we've talked about the receivers, you got to know all three positions. Well, you may be playing single high. You may be playing splits. You may go down in the slot and cover the nickel. You may be blitzing. You may be playing in the box. There's a lot to playing safety, and it's become a position of great importance, obviously. What kind of pride do you take in your versatility and the ability to, whatever role fits in the safety bucket, that you're able to do and do it at an elite level?
Right. I take a tremendous amount of pride in that. And just people ask me, who's your favorite safety growing up? Who'd you like watch? I say a guy that could do everything. And, a guy like Ed Reed that did all of that, played special teams, did literally everything. Those are the guys that I try to, model my game after, because you never know. A guy can go down. They might need you to plug you at corner. They might need you to play a little linebacker or dime. So it's just whatever helps the team, and being able to do that is tremendous.
What do you know you need to improve on in 2021?
I think just being more disciplined with my eyes. A lot of times it's not the physical things. It's something so simple that you can get hit on in this league. The margin for error is so small. So I say just being disciplined with your eyes. See a little to see a lot. And I think I do a good job at that. But, those few plays that you mess up on is the smallest things that you miss. So I just got to lock in a little more.
That's something I actually talked with JOK earlier today, and you said, see a little, see a lot. He said sometimes when you see too much, you don't see enough.
Right, exactly.
And that's an interesting thing. So eyes, clearly it's something that's going in those defensive meeting rooms. Get your eyes right.
Get your eyes right. Can't have dirty eyes out there on defense. Can't.
How fun was it today to see this offense of ours that you've gone against, and you have a lot of respect for the marriage of the run and pass and the way that they make those boots look just like the run action, to see that go against somebody else and see some of the success they've had with that?
I'm like, thank the Lord. When you got guys running down the field wide open, we got one today, maybe two. So I couldn't see what they were doing over there. But in that team period where we came together, it was a motion, it was a shift, and next thing you know, Dave Njoku was running down the field wide open. So it's awesome to see, and hopefully we can transfer that to Sundays. We'll be just fine.
Are there makings of this defense from what you saw when you were when you were in LA?
I believe so. And it's literally, like I said, discipline. It's the pass rush and covering. If you got all three of those things, you'll win. You know, we're going to get guys to check the ball down. We got to get 11 guys to tackle, and we got the guys that do it here, and I think we have the discipline and the want-to do it. So it's a lot of carryover from LA.
This, of course, is our post-practice interview brought to you by Global Transport with John Johnson III, Brown safety. Now, I got to tell you, it seems like you have come in here being, you know, what you were down calling the plays with the Rams, a leader on that defense. You really seem to have stepped into that role here, and it's something that's natural. And I saw you had a fan club going by, AWOC. They want your autograph and all of that things. But do you feel like you've really kind of settled into this locker room? And what's that like, making that transition where you know everything in L.A.? They all know that you're the guy coming into a new team and kind of finding that role and being that leader.
Yeah, I think it's just something like you got to earn your stripes. You know, you can't come in day one and expect guys to follow you. You got to set an example. You never want to ask of guys things that you wouldn't do yourself. So you got to actually go out there and show them that you can do it and that you will do it. You have the want to do it. And it's been good. You know, these last couple of weeks in training camp, I've been feeling the transition. You know, guys actually buying in. You know, off the field,
sure.
We're linking up, hanging out, and stuff like that. So it's been great. And the more chemistry we can get, the most connected teams usually play in February. So we just want to keep building on that and go from there.
How valuable was that trip down to Jacksonville? Because we ended up staying a night after the game, which is not something that is typically done, but it felt like it fostered a lot of bonding opportunities and time just kind of together away from the field for you guys. Did you feel like that was actually a trip that ended up having a lot more benefits than maybe you would have thought at the start?
Oh, no doubt. And I'm not just saying that because, you know, that next morning where we were planning to leave, we actually had a little delay, even longer time to wait. You know, guys were playing cards, you know, talking trash, having fun. And it was fun. It was good. And, you know, things like that actually help build the team, you know, being able to adjust on the fly, you know, just hanging out with the guys and having fun. So I think that trip was amazing, and I'm looking forward to – got to get past this game first, but I'm looking forward to the trip to Atlanta as well.
What were some of the challenges that the Giants gave you today?
I think it's just, you know, stuff that we weren't used to seeing. You know, being out here in training camp, playing against the Browns, we've been seeing a lot of certain things.
Yeah.
They come out, you know, their splits are a little wider. We do a lot of things in condensed splits. So just different route concepts, different route combinations, different body types, different running backs. So it was good to get to work, though.
John, how excited are you to get in front of these fans? You got a taste of it at that orange and brown practice. I remember a couple of years ago on a Sunday Night Football, you came as a member of the Rams here. So you know what First Energy Stadium can be about. How excited are you for when you get there for the home opener when it's really rocking?
Right. I don't know how many fans were at that orange and brown game, but it was super loud, and the stadium wasn't even halfway full. So I can't even imagine. I'm excited. You know, I'm excited for the weather. I'm excited for the conditions. I'm just excited for the whole experience, the dog pound experience. And I can't wait.
Well, we are excited that you're a member of the Cleveland Browns. Thank you so much for the time. Thanks for joining us. I'll give you a little pound. We'll get a little shake.
My bad.
Hey, we're excited to have you. It's going to be a lot of fun. John Johnson III, this defense flying all around the field, and we thank you, the best fans in all of professional sports, once again for joining us. We're not done. Are we going to get some more of these Browns live questions here for the fans? John, you are good. We appreciate you. Go ahead and get all this hot equipment off. Get yourself cool and comfortable after a great day's work here at the CrossCountry Mortgage Campus. Ken and I are going to continue and bring this thing home for you. Thank you very much, John. Appreciate it. Later, you know, Ken, you got when it's something
Move
to
on
bring
over
in.
Here.
Yeah, we're going to slide on over.
Hi,
Hello,
everybody.
Hello, friends.
Good seeing everyone
Let's see.
again.
Yes. You know what's so interesting about this team, and we've talked about the talent that's been brought in here, but we have an opportunity, you know, to talk to these guys, to have them come sit up here on the set with us, and all of them don't not only seem to be exceptional players, but they seem to be exceptional guys.
That's what you need.
And it's that culture that is being built. We talked about Malik Jackson earlier and the culture that he brings. John Johnson made the interception that sent the Rams to the Super Bowl. He knows what it takes to get to the top, and he comes in here and just you feel like not only good players, good people, smart, tough, and accountable. That's what it's all about here.
Well, the NFL ages you real quickly, and it ages the guys like you and me. You've been here 9 years. I've been talking about this team for 10 years now, and have been a part of this organization now doing the broadcast for 9 years. And, you know, we've seen the pups, and we've seen them go out there, and you kind of, oh, man, it wasn't that way when we first popped over here. And then you get some of the veterans in, and before you make some signings, and it was, but you're seeing what some real leadership can bring, what John Johnson III can bring to the secondary. We spoke about Malik Jackson earlier, a guy who's won a Super Bowl, who knows what it takes to get to that level. This is one of the differences that we love analytics, but one of the things that can't really predict, guys who are going to be good in the locker room and obviously good on the field as well.
But I think it's something that clearly is a major part of the Browns' vetting process to decide who they're going to bring into this organization. I mean, you think about last year's draft class, the quality of the guys as well as players. This year's draft class, Newsome, J.O.K., we've already seen Felton showing out, but we know the kind of guy that Tommy Togiai is as well. We'd love to see more from Anthony Schwartz, but it's just not only are they good players, not only do they have unique talents, James Hudson as well, Richard LeCount, the list goes on and on. Not only great talents, but they're guys that come in here and fit that smart, tough, accountable mold. And I think you just see, again, it was not stark. Stark contrast is too strong a word, but the difference in our approach as an organization to the periods here today and the Giants, not that they're different strokes for different folks, but just the business-like nature of it, the no-fluster nature of it. I think it really stands out, and it comes from the top down in this organization.
And it's been nice because, Andrew Berry's got to be very careful about things. Nick Chubb's been signed, and it's a great extension with Nick Chubb. We'll talk about Baker Mayfield. We're very encouraged with Baker Mayfield right now. Wyatt Teller we have to discuss. We know that they've been working on some things with Denzel Ward. That means you got to be judicious with some of the free agent money out there because we want to grow our own and cultivate our own. So it's not just about, well, we got to bring in this talented guy. We got to bring in that talented guy. We're just going to go like crazy. You got to bring in quality individuals if you want to be able to reach that goal, and then bring some of those young guys along, and maybe you have a couple of ones that maybe were diamonds in the rough that start to blossom. A guy like Donovan Peoples-Jones and so on.
It makes it a little easier when you go back a 6th-round pick Donovan Peoples-Jones and what we've seen so far anyway from Demetric Felton. On a scale of 1 to 10, Cavs and 4, using the questions, of course, hashtag Browns Live from our great fans. How dominant has the pass rush been? And, well, to be honest with you, Cavs and 4, we haven't gotten to see it.
Haven't seen it.
In a while.
No.
Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney have not practiced in a while. Takk McKinley has not been here for a while. So we really haven't seen this pass rush unleashed in the manner that we expected to see it. But what I'll tell you is we've seen the back end of this defense.
Been nice.
And it's been real nice.
Yeah, especially against Jacksonville in their front because they started their starters last week. So if it comes to the depth, I'll give you a 9 or a 10 when it comes to the depth. But at the front line guys, we haven't seen them. I've been very excited about the pass coverage, though, especially today.
Same.
Watching these guys today, and Nathan knows this, they were sterling this afternoon against the Giants and what they were trying to throw around with.
Yeah, the ball was not being completed very often for the Giants, and in fact, their last pass of the day was a completion to the Cleveland Browns and Greg Newsome, our first rounder out of Northwestern. All right, we have another fan question using the hashtag Browns Live at NFL Edits. Will we see more of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt on the field at the same time this year? I think that we've talked about this a few times, and I do think that we will see more of that. It's all about creating matchups and mismatches, and I think that the Browns have two guys that are so good that it makes sense. Heck, we might even see a time when the two of them and Felton are on the field together.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see it a little bit maybe with a couple of older franchises. And maybe when you see some of the personnel that might be a little bit heavier on the linebacker spot and not as thick when it comes to what you want in your secondary, because that's where Demetric Felton can make a really big difference with matchups. And then Kareem Hunt is obviously sneaky good when it comes out of the backfield or lining him up in the slot. Same thing with Demetric Felton there. So I think it's going to be a week-by-week thing. If you look down the roster, you see maybe a little bit more heavy on the linebacker side. You might be seeing a little bit more Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, and it might throw some things off because you want to be able to have Nick Chubb be able to carry the ball, but you want to be able to catch it out of the backfield with Kareem or Demetric Felton.
Yeah, and you have the opportunity to do that. And we talked about seeing more kind of that screen game. That's another way to get touches for these running backs, get them into space against guys that, frankly, can't hang with them. And if we watch some of those one-on-ones today, and that's one of the fun parts when you get to go against another team and you get in these pads is you see running back, linebacker, one-on-ones. And look, those things absolutely favor the running backs. Not only ours, it favors the Giants running backs against our linebackers as well. But it's fun to see those guys get out there, run some of those routes, and you just see that we have guys not only who can run it and arguably the best running tandem in the league in Chubb and Hunt, but they also are sneaky good catching it out of the backfield. And then Demetric, of course, is just a natural catching it out of the backfield.
Very excited about all these guys coming out of there and being able to carry on this offense. It's exactly what Baker said yesterday. You got a lot of weapons. Get the ball to them and let them sing. Let them fly.
All right, Ken, what are you looking for? We got another question here from Big Chief Buckeye. What kind of an impact could Andrew Billings and Tommy Togiai on the field at the same time have on the run defense, given how strong they both are?
I think if you have both these guys on that defense in 2020, I think the game against the Raiders is different.
Absolutely.
I think that was the game where they just
call.
beat you up, especially in the B gap and the A gap, and they just tried to pound it with you. And if you have guys who are able to take on double teams, this goes back to Tom Landry with the flex defense. You want to free up your middle linebacker, be able to pick through the garbage, and keep him clean. That's what you want to do. And a guy like Tommy Togiai, who could fight through it but also take it on, and a guy like what you have with Andrew Billings, he could do that as well. I think that frees things up. I think they're right there. And that weather, that game, I think that would have been the difference.
And listen, we are still in Cleveland. There is still a good chance that at some point this year there is going to be some inclement weather that will make it perhaps more difficult to throw the football in a game where you're going to have to really run the football, and having those big, strong guys in the middle, not to mention a guy like Malik Jackson, that can help fortify things so that your playmakers, your Anthony Walker Jr., your Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, they can run around. Mack Wilson, Taki, fly to the football clean and make those plays. Great day of work here today in the joint practices, a day that for the Browns I think they will be very pleased when they go back and watch the tape. Ken, what are you looking for tomorrow, the second straight day of these joint practices? And again, probably the second straight day of real good work for your ones, and perhaps the best work they're going to get all preseason.
Like I would have wanted out of that offense today. I love David Njoku earlier today. I thought he had a great practice. I thought the tight ends in general had a great practice. Connor Davis really showed up and played very well. Harrison Bryant made a nice play or two. Austin Hooper was great. I know he's your number one, so you kind of take him for granted.
Sure.
The tight end room was a great day today, and so do the wide receivers. Tomorrow, I got to pay more attention to the defense. I want to see more of that defense go out, fly around like they did today, and see what our linebackers do. I think it's a big opportunity for a couple of these guys. And I saw Anthony Walker out there earlier today, so I want to see him again maybe tomorrow, see what type of work they can get, and hopefully just make us feel even better about this defense and where we're already at.
Yeah, and I'd like to see these defensive ends. We talked about that the headliners in that room, Clowney and Myles Garrett and McKinley, they're not out here right now. So the guys that are out here, Porter Gustin, Joe Jackson, Cameron Malveaux, Curtis Weaver, Romeo McKnight, I want to see them try to have some success against those top tackles of the Giants, because somebody out of that group is going to make this football team and most likely will be called upon at some point this season to play some meaningful snaps. And so you want to see those guys continue to develop their confidence, and the only way to do that is by having success out there on the field.
Certainly. And you mentioned some of those names. I want to see some of those names as well, because this is a Giants offensive line that has some nice pieces. I think there's some gold in them, their hills, but it's in a state of flux. So there's an opportunity coming up tomorrow for this defense to make some more hay like they did today.
Look, most importantly, you want to stay healthy. Hopefully we'll have updates for you. Again, Jacob Phillips went in, and it looked like Sione Taki went inside as well during today's practice. So hopefully we'll have updates for you at clevelandbrowns.com and, of course, the Browns mobile app on those. But it's a linebacker room that even down a couple guys, still tremendous depth. J.O.K., Walker Jr., Malcolm Smith, the veteran, Elijah Lee, who has had a very nice camp as well, and Mack Wilson. All right, we got another question here using the hashtag BrownsLive at KempCallWood. What are the chances for A.J. Green and Marvin Wilson of making the final roster?
I think good for both. I know that everybody loves Marvin Wilson when it comes to the fans. Now, I know that it's a little bit deep in his spot, so we got to see what happens when we get to the next week or so. A.J. Green's a guy that everybody likes. A.J. Green's a guy that this team likes, and certainly the fans like. I think that he's got a really nice shot at it.
Yeah, A.J. Green, remember, a year ago was the top undrafted free agent in the NFL in terms of what he was compensated. The Browns made that move to get him out of Oklahoma State, where he had a very productive collegiate career. He has progressed. He's got good size. He's 6'2". He has played well. Now, he was a little banged up, so he wasn't out here today. But when you ask what corner stood out, yes, anybody in the organization, who stood out to you down in Jacksonville, take a Greg Newsome out of it, a Greedy Williams, they say A.J. Green.
Yes.
You know, Baker Mayfield said the guy that has impressed me in training camp is A.J. Green. And so I think he absolutely has a shot to make this roster. Now, in the defensive tackle room for Marvin Wilson, I think that in the future there's a chance there. But I think it's going to be tough this year, because you think of Billings, you think of Malik Jackson, you think of Jordan Elliott, last year's third-round pick, and this year's fourth-round pick, Tommy Togiai. Then you add in Sheldon Day.
Yeah.
Sheldon Day has had an absolutely tremendous camp. He had the sack down in Jacksonville. He knows Chris Kiffin, was on that 49ers team for 16 games there in 2019, 60 career games. He's got 6.5 sacks for his career, and he has been a force in one-on-ones, and he's been a force out here every day at the CrossCountry Mortgage campus. And so I think right now you almost have a situation where you got 5 guys for 4 spots, plus there's interest in Wilson, plus there's interest in Malik McDowell.
Yeah.
And they want to see Malik McDowell out here a little more as well. So I think that defensive tackle room, that's one where there are going to be some real challenges, and getting that work against the Giants could perhaps go, a long way to determining who kind of takes a step forward in that room in advance of the game there in Sunday. So good question right there. I like that question. That's somebody who knows our roster, who's digging deep, trying to find some of those diamonds in the rough, as you mentioned, Ken, here for the Browns. But today, the diamonds, the stars were on display. The real diamonds were shining bright. Jarvis Landry, was he your kind of MVP of the day on that offensive side?
That one-hand catch where it just sticks. It's fantastic. I don't even know if it was intended for him, but it was impressive, to say the least. I was excited.
It was. He probably gets the play of the day on offense, although Hollywood and Baker would say, what about our touchdown? Fine. You all can have it. When the Browns go out and have a nice day like that, everybody gets that game ball defensively. I imagine the bone collector this week is going to be Greg Newsome coming off of that interception. They're putting things away here. That calm before the storm will return tomorrow with another edition of Browns Live. So we want to thank you on behalf of Ken Carman, our great production team. I am Nathan Zegura, thanking you for watching Browns Live right here at the CrossCountry Mortgage Campus. Remember, we're back tomorrow with another edition.